I honestly don't care. I just want Democrats to stop acting like they are on this moral high ground politically when they have shown us they're not, whether it's skipping the primary process when Biden stepped down and things like Biden pardoning his son. Stop acting like y'all the pure party and Republicans aren't. And it also shows me elected officials can do whatever they want as long as they have the political will and courage to do it.
Based. Cenk, back to you.
As usual, I agree with my brother Charlamagne. So it's one thing to do the wrong thing. It's another thing to be self-righteous about it. And that's what's really annoying and gets under people's skin, right? So Joe Biden said 1,000 times, no one's above the law. No one's above the law. And then on his way out, after he loses the election, or his party does, he's like, well, no one other than my family members were obviously above the law. You know what I'm saying? It's because they didn't expect to lose the election. And he was saying no one's above the law as a political gimmick against Donald Trump. Never meant it in the first place. Whoopi's not telling the truth. We showed her clip earlier in the show where she says, well, Joe Biden has good intent. How the hell do you know that? Doesn't look like he has good intent at all. And what Charlamagne is doing, and why we love it, is because he's now broken out of the mainstream media. He's in radio originally, right? It's core part of mainstream media. But he's breaking the mold and say, I'm done with this, right? So you keep telling us they have great intent and they're going to keep on delivering. And all I ever see them is deliver for themselves.
What's up, y'all? Gerald here, creator of Gospel Chops and your host for this YouTube channel, back with another video. Now, y'all, there's not many things in life that make my heart happier than to see a left-wing, leftist liberal recoil after taking a massive L by the U.S. Constitution and the standards put forth by the United States of America. Y'all, this is exactly what I saw when Charlamagne the Lesser Charge went before the witches of The View. That's right. I know it might be something y'all didn't expect. It's not something I expected, but post-election, where this man stood 10 toes down for Kamala, he used his platform, he used his radio broadcast to promote this woman. He let her come on his broadcast and call herself a black woman where she ain't got no taint or black in her. He tried to sell her as something she wasn't, i.e. intelligent. And now, post-election, after taking the biggest L possibly in history, he goes before the women of The View and tries to sell himself as something that he wasn't. Maybe a middle of the road, a fence sitter. That's probably the best he could do. He don't want to go all the way right wing, but he want to sell himself as not being so left wing, having taken such a loss. So he goes on this platform and he talks with these women, if we should call them that, because we don't know how they identify. But he engages with them and he gets into a little tiff with old Whoopi. Seemed like she had a problem with what Charlamagne was talking about on this day as he tried to clean up his own reputation at the expense of the reputation of The View.
I think all of the criticism is valid because, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time. And, they act so self-righteous. The reality is he didn't have to say anything in regards to, whether or not, his son wanted to be pardoned. He could have said, hey, man, I'm not focused on that right now. But since they were calling Trump a threat to democracy and they were saying that, nobody's above the law, but they were speaking about him, that's what they were running on. So when he kept saying things like, nobody's above the law, I respect, the jury's decision in regards to my son, he didn't believe that. But he didn't have to volunteer that lie to begin with.
I'm going to stop you for a second.
Uh-oh.
Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't know why he changed
You really think he just changed his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all of a sudden?
I'm going to tell you what I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get over. And this is just my feeling, because at some point you get to the place where you just go, So I'm just going to follow the straight and narrow always, because that's what's expected of Democrats.
But that's their fault. They're the ones that go out. They're the ones that go out there and they stand on this moral high ground. Listen, they don't have to do that.
I'm a Democrat. Tell me what the moral high ground is.
The moral high ground is nobody's above the law. I respect what the jurors are saying. He don't have to do that.
We're mad at him because he changed his.
Oh, no. By the way, I'm not mad at him pardoning Hunter Biden.
But you sound like you're
mad. No.
If I can get in on this, I actually think it went further, and this is one thing we really disagree on. Joe Biden made a point of saying we stand by our institutions and the impartiality of the Department of Justice. Yes. Democrats ran on that. The same DOJ indicted Hunter Biden. How we shouldn't be saying it's corrupt like Donald Trump does. But then in his statement pardoning Hunter Biden, he says that it was a political pursuit by his own Department of Justice.
Can you explain why it is that when Joe Biden does something, everybody clutches their pearls? He's wrong. He lied.
Criticized Donald Trump more than me or Charlamagne.
I'm sorry. Yeah, people have criticized him more. I've criticized him more. We've all criticized him more. But you're missing my question. Okay. My question is, what is it that makes people flip out with Joe, but we don't have the same kind of thing?
Well, I don't think people are flipping out with Joe. I think Democrats are flipping out with Joe because Democrats believe that they don't represent what he's currently representing. But that's just not true. That's why I say they stand on this moral high ground that simply does not exist. And I think this is also the problem when we pick sides, right? We've turned political parties into teams. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. Ain't nobody more delusional than me, right? Okay? I feel like we're going to the Super Bowl every year, but I'm not delusional. Well, no, that is delusional. But when it comes... But when it comes to political parties, if you pick a side, right, if you say you're a Democrat, if you say you're a Republican, you refuse to be objective about anything.
That's why I'm an independent.
Yes, but that's not a monolith. We're not, Democrats are not a monolith.
Why can't you say when Democrats are wrong? And why can't Republicans say when Republicans are wrong?
I'll tell you when Democrats are wrong.
So you don't think Joe Biden is wrong?
No, I don't. Can I just point this out to you? The president has a pardon power, right?
I didn't say you were ridiculous, Ms. Goldberg. I would never. I say that. I just think that.
Think about it. Just think about it this way.
There you have it, y'all. Charlamagne the God out here trying to clean up the mess that he made for himself in this witch's den called The View. And they don't even agree with him because he's recoiling and everyone can see it. Bro, we see you for what you are, Charlamagne, the lesser charge. We know that you just out here trying to maintain. We know that you out here trying to string the folks along on that left side. They just need to hang on to you just for a little while so you can make a little more cash, just so you can make a little more money, just so you can pay a little more of your bills and keep your career going just a little while longer. Yo, hold on to what I'm saying, said Charlamagne. It ain't what I said yesterday, but it's what I'm saying today. I need you to cling to what I got going on here because I need my radio station to hang on. I need to hang on to my persona so that I can make a few more bucks before this whole thing wash out because America has seen that the jig is up. I hope y'all don't see it, says Charlamagne the lesser charge. I hope y'all ain't up on game. I hope y'all ain't wisened up on the fact that the left wing is taking a super L right now because we put all our apples in the basket of this Indian woman that we tried to sell to you who as a black woman. No, we tried to pull the wool over your eyes. We tried to trick y'all. We tried to pull some shenanigans and it didn't work. So now you got people like Charlamagne out here trying to save themselves. No, life jacket for me, life raft for me, not for thee, just for me. I'm trying to save myself out here in these public streets and these social media streets. Are y'all buying what Charlamagne is selling? Are y'all picking up what he's putting down? Because for me, I think it's another shakedown of another sort. This dude ain't coming to repentance. He ain't figured nothing out. He just trying to maintain for himself and his own. Y'all let me know what you think about this in the comments. I'd love to know your thoughts on this. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video so we can get more people involved in the conversation, y'all. And like I always say, always remember and never forget, without the gospel, it's just chops. Until next time, peace.